Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah, and today my group and I will present our Netnorgraphy presentation on the Boohoo brand. We hope you enjoy. To begin, I will give a brief overview into our research question and why we chose it. I will also discuss the significance of authenticity within our research project and introduce some key theory around our question. Amy will discuss the netnographic research process and theory, Hannah will discuss the netnographic research process and practice, Rachel will discuss our key findings with you and demonstrate how our chosen theory relates back to the data found, and finally Yusha will provide recommendations for Boohoo based on our findings and conclude our presentation. Our research question is outlined on the slide. It surrounds the topic of consumers' relationship towards fast fashion brands. We decided to focus this question on the Boohoo group for many reasons, given the multiple scandals and accusations that we constantly found ourselves being exposed to in the media, such as slavery allegations. We wanted to understand why consumers continue to shop the brand when brand authenticity was not transparent for consumers following recent controversies. We also chose this title given the importance of sustainability in the fashion industry and wanted to see what consumers thought about Boohoo on social platforms amidst this environmental revolution. Authenticity plays a huge part in our research process as it defines the consumer relationship with the brand. The measuring of authenticity through the netnographic process meant we objectively observed the way in which the consumers engage with Boohoo online. This helped us understand their relationship with the brand, which led us to making reasonable recommendations to Boohoo to improve their overall image. This slide introduces relevant literature and theories. We focus our attention on the topics of brand community, gender, cultural capital, and influencers. Brand community theorists such as Kova were crucial to our research, as it allowed us to observe why there was a very obvious distinction between consumers both in and out of the Boohoo community. Gender theory, and more specifically feminist theory of intersectionality, is relevant due to the hypocrisy on Boohoo's part when it comes to women supporting women, despite not paying their workers a living wage, most of whom are females. Lastly, cultural capital was interesting to focus on because of Boohoo's use of tastemakers and influencers as intermediaries when it comes to advertising and creating an overall brand image, which helps determine authenticity for the brand. Now I will pass you on to Amy.
Growth in online conversations to communicate and share knowledge has seen a considerable increase in the last 2 decades, enabling online sites to be used as a qualitative research space. CausiNet has not only proposed several essential procedures which researchers should be aware of prior to and during netnographic research, but he has also suggested 4 main elements which should guide a researcher to conduct an insightful and trustworthy analysis. These 4 guides aided our study to be appropriate and meaningful. The first consideration is to initially focus on a small number of postings in order to understand the culture of the online site. This guide aims to prevent community rejection, as similar to social situations, online gathering communities have histories, social structures, code of etiquettes, particular ways of speaking, and unique rituals and identities. The second element suggested is to analyse the culture by engaging with community members. Implementing this guide affords a deeper understanding and uncovering of findings. The third guideline is to experience and review conversations through the viewpoint of community members, enabling a different insight and perspective to be experienced. The final element is to allow conversations unfold in a real time and to avoid reading the conversations all at once. This guideline prevents the mining of data and enables engagement and understanding of online conversations. Following the suggested guidelines, we have been pointed towards a high-quality study. I will now pass you on to Hannah, who will discuss the research process in practice.
Throughout the netnographic research process, we use CausiNet's methodology to create an in-depth research process. Our approach began with generating relevant subtopics related to our research question that could be used in the search of content within the online spaces. It was important for us to have an understanding of what individuals regarded as important for a brand to be valuable and relevant. Through initial research, the most relevant subtopics to help in our search were quality, sustainability, gender, authenticity, and the influence of tastemakers. McDonald 2021 says millennials and Gen Zs are looking to companies which share their values, making these subtopics extremely relevant to the Boohoo brand. We split the subtopics amongst the group. The subtopics aided us with our collection of data from the following online platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. The group's research was conducted through an ethnographic sensibility level through social media listening. Reid and Duffy 2018 advocate that netnography sensibility can add richness and depth to mass consumer realities by bridging the established tradition of netnography with the depth and scale of social media monitoring. Through social media listening, we collected in-depth knowledge regarding both Boohoo consumers and non-consumers, ensuring that we stayed up to date with real-time unfolding conversations. Once comfortable in the online social media forums, and to prevent the act of lurking, we inserted ourselves into the conversations, allowing a deeper understanding of individual behaviour and attitudes. In the era of tastemakers and the impact which influencers have on Boohoo consumers, we deemed videography to be relevant to our ethnographic research process. Belk and Kosnick 2005 proposed that videography and ethnography both derived from the anthropology technique of ethnography, with influencers using the video section on multiple online platforms to flaunt the items they have either bought or received through the term fashion haul. We anticipated that the comments section would allow for interesting findings. Boohoo sponsors numerous influencers, sending them free clothes to showcase on their platforms for the audience to see and ultimately purchase. By adhering to Kosnick's guidelines, we believe that our research would enable a credible and reputable report to be produced. Rachel will now present our findings.
Throughout our research, we came across a substantial amount of data which gave great insight into how the Boohoo brand is perceived by the consumers, both inside and outside of the brand community through online engagement. By using ethnographic methods to analyse the data found, we've been able to determine some brand-related phenomena central to the community. The research revealed that topics such as product quality, sustainability and inequality, and influencing were most mentioned. These topics can be linked to theory involving tastemakers, sustainability and consumption, gender and brand communities, all of which tell us about the overall authenticity of the brand. However, for today's presentation, I will focus on just two of these findings. During our investigation, we found that Boohoo's brand community was most prevalent on Facebook. The communities we came across displayed some traditional indicators of community, including a sense of moral responsibility and a shared consciousness of the brand. This can be seen from observation and participation in such Facebook groups, where a new member asks for the community's opinion on quality or style and gets a quick, direct and honest response from community members. The Facebook group also demonstrates symbols for community members to rank their status amongst members. On Facebook, the community supported the brand and showed loyalty through positive posts and feedback. However, on Twitter, non-community members were quick to negatively comment on Boohoo's products, saying they are of lesser quality than their online rivals such as ASOS, Misguided and Pretty Little Thing. COVID's linking value principle is evident here. We see the links between community and consumption used in order to identify and form links with others. In the case of the data being analysed, it seems the link is formed over shared experiences, and the users care more about the connection stemmed from the thing than the thing itself. Next, I will speak about gender. It is important to mention the ethics behind the Boohoo brand. Recently challenged in the media for allegations of slave labour, findings have shown that non-community members were outraged as such allegations came to light. However, members within the community remained silent on the matter, proving brand loyalty. Feminist theory promotes intersectional feminism, which fast fashion brands appear to disregard. This theory must be applied when discussing sustainability and working conditions, as women are most impacted by these issues. The fast fashion industry is indirectly impacting women, and Boohoo is partly responsible. They were even named one of the least sustainable fashion brands in the UK in a report published by the Environmental Audit Committee. The hypocrisy of the Boohoo brand is evident through their treatment of women. One example of this was seen under a post from the official Boohoo Twitter account on International Women's Day, which saw posts expressing hypocrisy of celebrating women when they allegedly do not pay their garment workers a living wage, most of whom are women. I will now pass over to Yusha, who will give an overview of our recommendations for the brand.
The negative and damaging effects of fast fashion business has been widely criticized by the media and internet users. Companies like Boohoo should be aware of the negative impact on their operations and implement crisis management in terms of the preventive measures and interventions. Through ethnography research, we proposed some recommendations that will enable Boohoo to overcome their issues on social media. The first recommendation is that Boohoo should anticipate possible problems and conflicts by strategic forecasting and scenario analysis to develop a contingency plan accordingly. In the event of a crisis, the brand should follow the framework of this plan for external communication. Coupled with this framework, the brand should avoid lying or refusing to acknowledge fault when responding to questions and maintain the integrity of the brand. By being the first to respond, apologize, and clarify on social networks, consumers will feel included, and the Boohoo brand could be rewarded for transparency. If the company established a dedicated crisis team to address the characteristics of social media to promote positive opinion-led campaigns in active user communities, the brand could remain uncased following scandals and controversies. The second recommendation speaks to how Boohoo could positively influence their customers on social media. Brand authenticity is the cornerstone of a brand's marketing activities to consumers that reflects the deeper value of the brand. Boohoo should use culturally relevant meanings in their marketing communications to promote their products. A common way Boohoo currently employs this strategy is by sponsoring influencers. However, Boohoo should carefully consider who their influencers are and be affiliated with trustworthy influencers only. These influencers would act as a media to use their influence on social networks to interact with a certain range of followers and the general public. Moreover, Boohoo should reach out to brand communities through influencers on social networks to impact customers' perceptions of brand authenticity. Overall, our findings from the Netnorgraphy research process highlights a clear distinction between members' opinions both in and out of the community, with both positive and negative responses regarding the brand found on social media platforms for analysis. Sustainability, overconsumption, and the ethics appear to be the greatest downfall of the brand, which compromised authenticity. On the other hand, the data found demonstrated members of loyal and trusting community who love the Boohoo brand and continue to support them despite the recent scandals and accusations of the group. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this presentation.